Loki is the Norse god of mischief, manipulating his foes and wreaking havoc wherever he goes. Today, I'll be explaining the differences between the Norse version of Loki and the Marvel version of Loki, starting off with Loki's story and family. The original myth states that Loki is a highly intelligent deceiver who could shapeshift on command, and made fools of Odin and Thor by making them victims to his mischievous plans. But sometimes he got in trouble for his schemes that he intended for them. He is just friends with Odin and Thor in the myths, not part of their royal bloodline at all. Britannica stated, "The World History Encyclopedia declares that Loki's family included his father, Fairbody, the mighty warrior of Odin and Thor, and his mother, Laufey, also known as Nal. He also has two brothers, Leicester and Helblindi, and Loki's two children, Nari and Narfi, he had with his wife, Sigyn. Though being unsatisfied with his current children, he had four more offspring. He had three with Angerboda, a female giant, the first child being Hel, goddess of death. The second was Jormungand, the world serpent, and third was Fenrir, a wolf. And Loki also gave birth to Odin's eight-legged horse, Sleipnir, Britannica declared. The Marvel Studios adaptation is mostly the same, but there are some differences. In Marvel's Thor, Loki is shown to have grown up with King Odin and King Frigga of Asgard as his adoptive parents. While living in Thor's shadow, he studied magical arts and earned the title God of Mischief. He seeks to be seen as equal to Thor and earns his father's approval. Loki does not want Thor to be the next king of Asgard, even though Loki isn't actually Odin's son. Odin found him left to die in a temple on Jotunheim and took him in as his own child, as it would be helpful later when the Asgardians try to come to peace with the Frost Giants. This would make him next in line for the king of Jotunheim. Loki had been lied to, and now wants more than ever to be better than Thor and prove himself superior. He became the most powerful sorcerer in Asgard, leaving chaos in his wake due to his want for throne and power. His desire to be king as well as his lust for power makes him cause chaos in Asgard. Eventually Loki obtains the throne in Asgard as soon as Thor is proven unworthy of his power.
You are unworthy of these realms, unworthy of your title! You're unworthy!
Now that we have gone over the myth and Marvel versions of Loki, let's discuss more of the differences between the two. Britannica states Loki's relationship with Thor and Odin is just as a friendship. In Marvel Universe, they are just brothers, and they fight for superiority in Thor vs. Loki, Loki, the Avengers, Thor, the Dark World, Thor Ragnarok, Avengers Infinity War, and Avengers Endgame. In the myth version, Britannica states the other gods dislike Loki because of all the things he has done to them. This included killing Balder, the favorite of the Norse gods, by tricking Hod into doing so. He also came to their party without being invited and wanted to drink there. For his payment of his bad deed, Loki was then stuck to a boulder. The killing of Balder led the way for the great battle of Ragnarok, in which the earth and underworld would be both consumed in a fiery end. The World History Encyclopedia declares that a common thread throughout many myths surrounding Loki are his malicious intentions, but also his willingness to help solve the problems he has created. Marvel Loki has a good side, as he has helped create the Avengers, helped Thor fight the Frost Giants, and also helped free Thor from Asgard. But Loki also has an extremely mischievous side, and in the myth version, he is not even a potential option for the Asgardian throne, because he isn't even part of the royal descent. Marvel also shows Loki using a variety of weapons to fight off various foes. He has used throwing knives or small blades, a Chitauri scepter he's used an attack on New York that is also the power to mind control, and Odin's Gungnir spear for which he took Asgardian throne, and the Casket of Ancient Winters to free Heimdall, and for the Tesseract which he was sent to obtain for Thanos. In the myth version, Loki doesn't have to deal with the Avengers, but he does trick and deceive the other gods and people. This causes him to get in trouble often. but he's willing to fix his problems most of the time. He seems to be an excellent fighter in the Marvel Universe, but really doesn't seem to show any kind of battle skills in the myth. But what he loses in battle, he makes up in mind manipulation and intelligence. I believe that the variation between the myths was given to add more action and a more dynamic character. This way, the movie writers can make a better and more interesting story for the viewers. Loki, the Norse god of mischief, has an interesting backstory in both myth and Marvel variations, and today we went over those differences. The Marvel Studios. Loki is a highly intelligent deceiver who could shapeshift. Is the Norse god of mischief and has an interesting. Loki is the Norse god of mischief. Loki, the Norse god of. No.